All right, this is the main interview segment of the New Dawn, and where we talk about topical issues. This moment, our focus will be on the mass defection that we experience in Nigeria. Around Nigeria now, a lot of people, especially politicians, are moving towards the ruling party, and this ruling party are being seen as the messiah of the time, and these politicians want to benefit from what they think the messiah is doing. So we want to look at why political competition is dwindling in Nigeria, why we think politicians are not using the oppositions that we have in Nigeria too well for the governance that we think should be. And that is why we'll bring this topic to you, the Gale of defection in Nigeria. We have analysts in the studio with us and someone also joining via Zoom. We have Professor Gale, who is a professor of journalism and media studies from Kola Daisy University, Ibadan. Thank you for joining us, Prof.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Another guest here in the studio with us is Alhaji Ola Animashaun. He's a public affairs analyst. Good morning, Alhaji.
Good morning, sir.
Good to see you again.
Nice to be here with you.
And also, Ustaz Jubril Lawal is also here to give his own opinion and suggestions about our topic. Good morning, Ustaz.
Good morning. It's a pleasure being here. Prof, good morning, sir.
Prof?
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Okay, my colleague is also here. So with Moses Ojeomi, the program will run from now till about 10:30. I will be talking about what we think opposition and the main ruling party should do when it comes to defection, and what other governance opponents that we should expect in Nigeria. Good morning, Moses.
Yeah, good morning, Charity.
So let's keep the ball rolling.
Good morning, gentlemen. Okay, let me start with you, Professor Gale Humbo. As of now, I think 28 states, with APC governors, 4 states with PDP governors, and I think a state each with Accord, ABGA, Labour Party, and NNPP. So my question is, this deal of defections, is it a sign of healthy political realignment or deep-rooted ideological bankruptcy?
Well, if you look at the Nigerian political space, you will perhaps be shocked about the rate at which people switch paths. I really would not even call it defections, because when you talk about defections, you are talking about people who are living for another political party or for another group based on some fundamental convictions. And so the kind of things you see these days defy classification. They defy classification in the sense that you see people whose political parties probably have no issues per se to join the ruling party. And so it looks like there is a kind of rendezvous around the honey pot. People are simply interested.
Okay, Professor. Well, it seems
in being power at all costs to see does not accept it.
Well, we are trying to re-establish,
yes.
Well, it's
okay.
We're trying to re-establish connection with him. We hope to have him back very shortly. But let me come to the studio and let me start with Mr. Animashaun. Same question. This deal of defections, is it worrying? Is it a sign of healthy political realignment or deep-rooted ideological bankruptcy?
Like Prof rightly started with, to me it's more of sojourning for soft landing by those involved, and the principal at the other hand having the opportunity to take advantage of people looking for soft landing, whatever it is. that is making them run here and there for safety. Because by and large, if you want to talk about principle or ideology, I don't think it's more of ideological leaning, because you've seen, although most of the political parties available as of this moment are virtually the same, you can hardly say this is a difference between PDP, for instance, and APC, and we all knew what transpired as of the time some of these parties were writing their constitution. We could recall the Bola Ige of this world, who did the constitution of so many political parties, particularly the so-called conservative or Republican party that we have, and the middle of the center that we call the progressive. So by and large, I don't see it as a matter of principle or ideological leaning, because you cannot just cross from the right side to the left or from the left to the right and say it's ideological. I think it's more of looking for soft landing, survival, and who knows what will happen afterwards. Because some will tell you it's fear of persecution, and some will tell you they are carrying their people along as if they have thoroughly discussed with the people, and without even minding that they are carrying the mandate of the people in a particular section, people that saw you before and voted for you and did not vote for the other side based on some other convictions. But as it stands today, it appears anything goes. Everybody is for his own head. That's why I said sojourning for survival, not basically a matter of principle.
Okay, Ostaz, let's look at comparing this defection to other countries around the globe. Is Nigeria tilting towards joining other countries who have done this? Do we have examples? If these examples are really happening, what is the gain from it? Do we have any gain from having just one party ruling, or just one political party having the dominance on the governance of a nation?
Oh, thank you so much. That's a research question. I told you I've asked for that kind of question. For those standing. In Africa, as a whole, when you look at it, it's politics without principles. I think that has been established. In Africa, it is interest that comes first. All over the world, interest comes in too, but then their interest is aligned with a principle. This is what I believe in, and they allow their interest to be aligned to that principle. But in Africa, particularly, political parties have become what people call SPV, special purpose vehicles, that you use as a medium, as a platform towards attaining your goal of claiming political machinery of a state. So that's just what it is. So like I said, when you look for examples, it's abounds more in Africa than in Europe or America, where you know that people there have a standard, and then you won't really blame people in Africa. The way and manner we have been evolving politically gives room for such. You can't afford to say you are totally given to a personal principle. It's a matter of what is in it for me, because in Africa you spend money to get a vote from people, and the people doesn't seem to know what they actually want. When people talk of the people who decide, and they say that, particularly in Nigeria, I just laugh, because do we really have people that decide? It's not a political structure that determines that. So the people seldom even knows what they really want in Africa here, in Nigeria in particular. Those that should know, the elite, seldom comes out to vote. So those are the challenges, and that's why, because politicians know at the end of the day it is how they maneuver and how they go about it, and not any principle or anything. That's why they end up doing that. So taking your question about other part of the world, on my fingers can talk of Africa, where they just come with parties. Once the one they are in does not fly well for them, they change party. We've seen such examples that abound in a lot of African countries, East Africa, West African states. It happens like that. So the issue of principle, as far as Africa is concerned, with politics, no, it is interest that comes first.
Okay, let's go to Professor Ongbo now and talk about the opposition, political parties that we have in Nigeria. Now APC is ruling, and PDP were, according to Nigeria, was supposed to be a strong opposition. But for PDP, there are lots of weaknesses within them, and so PDP is divided, and some move to ADC, and there's Labour Party too, and there's another party, NMP that Kwankwaso is in. And Kwankwaso right now is thinking about joining the ruling party. With the story we heard yesterday, he has allowed his followers to go to APC and continue their political journey there. So let's talk about weakening political competition in Nigeria. Do you think moving from one party to another will allow these opposition parties to thrive? And what is the role of an opposition party, as it were?
Okay, thank you. As far as the role of opposition parties, opposition parties deepen democracy. Opposition parties provide alternative views, alternative policies, policy suggestions that can drive the growth and social transformation of any country or any political space. Having said that, what has happened to the opposition in Nigeria is quite strange, because you begin to think about the opportunities missed by the opposition. Instead of having opposition coalition, I think people are looking at the possibility of joining the fray at the center, joining the fray of the ruling party. If you look at
okay, there's a lot of things out there.
Okay, now, Mr. Land Marshall, I don't think we can separate these defections from the 2027 elections. With 28 governors now in APC, and there's likelihood of NNPP joining, maybe 2 governors even before 2027 election, making 30, possibly. Will this determine the coming elections?
It would, it could, it should. Because when you look at the calculus, if you have about 28 coasting to 30, like you said, it won't be impossible to have about 32. So what does that suggest? When you have between 28 and 32 states in the kitty for the ruling party, and you have 36 states in the federation, plus Abuja 37.
With interest that he is going to move, then he moves the entire party structure into a direction which might have been moderated if it was a different situation, whereby the governor takes care of governance and then everybody else, political leader, acts as. You see that the time it took the governor of Kano State to move to decide whether he was going to defect the APC was a little bit longer than how it took the PDP governor. The PDP governor simply woke up and said, no, if you are a commissioner under me and you don't follow me to the political party or to the ruling party, consider your job lost. Scenarios when you put too much power in the hands of somebody who is supposed to run government. And so what he thinks about basically is his personal interest. And we've seen a whole lot of, especially when you come to parliament, for instance, you've seen quite strange movements. But where you get, the parliament is supposed to be a zone of ideas. It's supposed to be a marketplace of ideas. And so that can only happen when you have ideas contesting from different political angles. from people who have different ideologies, which actually is a major problem with the Nigerian politicians. Because you begin to think, what was the conviction of these politicians or these particular politicians when they decided to join a political party of the people based on that political party? And don't forget that part of the things that people consider when they vote for them is what political party you belong, what ideologies that political party espouses, and then you get into office on the basis of that, and then you violate the constitutional provisions, the provisions of the Electoral Act, the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution, which clearly states that it is only when there is a division within your political party that you are allowed to defect. And then if you move from one party to another political party, you are supposed to lose your seat. And I think it is only when we begin to test this, and it's been tested in Ondo State, for example, where a House of Assembly member defected, and then it was challenged, and the court ruled that his seat be declared vacant because that's a violation of Constitution. You cannot make democracy so transactional. The kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria today has become so transactional in the sense that people bargain with the mandates they are given, and then without going back to the electorate who originally gave you that mandate, to go and sell up the mandate to another political party. I think that is a very dangerous trend. And back you, I know that the APC itself, which is the ruling political party, will begin to face some internal crisis that by the time the political party gets so swollen, and then people are coming from different places with all kinds of ideas, all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of ideologies, quote and unquote, because the way we understand ideology in this guy is quite a little bit quite different. So by the time they move into the ruling party, it becomes so disoriented, and then it can lead to an internal explosion that can create a whole lot of crisis for the ruling party, because it's going to be very difficult to manage all these diverse interests, manage all these diverse ideologies, and because people don't come into political parties believing that they all come into political parties dumping their original ideologies where they're coming from. They're going to carry some bits of their former ideology, of their profile, into the new political party. And so you're going to find out very soon that we're going to begin to have more and more crises in the ruling party as more defectors join them.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Gendele Ungbo. We learned you have to attend to another engagement right about now. So thanks for being a part of this. So yeah, to the gentlemen in the studio. Maybe you may continue from where you left off, talking about if these defections are part of the major determinants for 2027 elections. But before, we also understand in 2015, Jonathan had I think about 22 governors. 22 governors were in PDP that time, and he lost, to Buhari in APC. So some will look at from that direction and say, well, even if all the governors, defect to APC, it may not determine 2027 elections.
Thank you very much. You see, no two situations are exactly the same. The template then is not impossibly different from the dynamics that is playing out now. Like I said, if you look at the calculus, 28 costing 30, not impossible to end up at 32. It's a Herculean task. The figure is quite different, number one, from 22 of Jonathan administration. The magic the current president is using, I don't know. And like we've agreed, the movement is based on interest. In fact, there's nothing permanent in Nigeria politics but interest. And the interest, because from the observatory, most of our politicians, because I don't like generalizing, are investors. Because they see business as politics as investment. And when you invest, you want to recoup afterwards. So whatever it is that is pushing them here and there, they know. And the principal, the health of affairs, know his strategy that he's deploying. So the calculus, like I said, is quite different. And the dynamics at play now, it may not be exactly the same as those of Jonathan. So we cannot easily say, because Jonathan could not outwit Buhari. Don't forget, the factors that brought Buhari in was not just only Buhari, so many other amalgamated factors. So at the end of the day in 2027, a lot of things will still play out. You see, you have to identify what the capabilities of the opposition are in this situation to tell you that the dynamics are quite different. Look, where are the opposition as of this material time? Those who are defecting, will they defect and allow the party to be defeated? What lies their interest? That's one factor. And the opposition. Okay, talk about ADC. And I used to say it and I'll continue to say the formula that ADC, African Democratic Congress, is using, adopting, is going to boomerang. It's not going to work. You don't go individually because you are rich and you assume Owolomaje. Yes, money plays a lot of factors. But you don't go as an individual from a corporate existence, a political party. Look at what APC, the current ruling party, did. They merged. They had legacy parties. But you left your parties to form another coalition individually. This thing has been experimented before in the Awolowo era. Don't let us forget history. The Awolowo, Azikwe, Waziri Ibrahim of GNPP, Azikwe of LPP, Awolowo of UPN, the Goni of this world, the PRP of Aminu Kano. They went individually like ADC is doing now against Shagari, the Second Republic, in the second term of Shagari. They failed because none of them was willing to allow the other to be the supreme candidate amongst them. It's the same thing playing out in ADC now, where you have the Atiku of this world, the Obi of this world, the FFI, who among them will step down. Secondly, they are going to compete against their supposed legacy party, the party they did not allow to go into legacy status. The PDP will still contest. All other political parties they were coming from will still contest. So they are not only going to contest against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president, they are going to contest against themselves from their parties. I don't know whether you get my drift. It's not going to work. I'm not a prophet of doom, but we will be here, inshallah, by the grace of God, to tell all of us together that the system African Democratic Congress has adopted will boomerang. What they should have done is what APC did before they became APC, the legacy parties, the NPP, the GNPP, what do you call the other one, the CPC, and other ones, the renegades of PDP, the renegades of APUGA, and all the rest. They have become legacy parties today, and they come to form a joint party called APC. Nobody can say, oh, after 27, if the coalition did not work, I will still go back to this. No, you must be able to coalesce and fight in a serious way. That's why I said, where are the opposition? Because the oppositions are in disarray. I'm not saying that they will not pull stunts, but with the strategy being adopted by the current president and his political party, I don't know what ADC, PDP, because PDP do not even have footings now, even locally in Nubo State. At federal, they are in disarray. Labour, in fact, I have a fear if Obi will have a party to contest, except if each of them have a way of stepping down to say, in this ADC, you will be the president and this. And the people from Labour are not accepting that formula from Obi. Let me allow Ustaz to talk because
we still have a lot of time to talk about
good.
it. We have so much time because we'll be closing by 11 a.m. Now, Ustaz, let's talk about the shrinking space that we have for these political oppositions now. With what Allah Animashan was explained, the spaces for opposition are now becoming so small for them to operate on because of what they are doing to themselves. So how should Nigerians now see opposition parties? And would they function the way Nigerians want them to function? Will the political opposition parties themselves function to the expectation of some people who want the opposition parties to tackle, in some sense, the ruling party and take them to their feet and to deliver the governance they're supposed to deliver?
Oh, thank you. I was learning from Elijah Animashan. I always call him my Oga, but we say no. Don't worry, I'm learning. The truth of the matter is we have emergency politicians now. The thoroughbred politicians are not on stage again, maybe only a few of them. When I talk of thoroughbred or thoroughly bred politicians, like Baba Awolowo, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Lateef Kayode Jakonde, Bola Ige, Baba Tope, Man of Timber and Caliber, and etc. across Nigeria, even from the north, Waziri, GMPP, and a lot of them from the north. We no longer have them. These are people that knew what politics is all about. Those that we have now are top politicians. Opportunity came and they just found themselves there. And that's why we have these challenges we are having. They don't understand what it means to be in the opposition. Some of them feel that being in the opposition is just to throw stones and abuse it. They don't understand it. And when you look at it, that's what they are doing now. Even the articles of this world and the OB of this world, they are only throwing stones and abusing. They are not really being in the opposition. In the days when we were growing, we always loved to read newspapers because we read arguments for and against. And we know that when examination will be coming up, those are the things that will come up in the examination. So we read articles from Baba Tope of this world, the Bola Ige of this world. Quite a number of them in the Tribune sketch of those days. You read a lot of those things there. What do you read in these days in our papers? Nothing of such. And in those papers, they are going to present an argument on how they think the government should have gone about certain policies.
They provide solutions.
Exactly. Analyzing issues. That's how they've been, oppositions. They've been able to oppose a lot of things. They will go to the floor of the house and you see brilliant arguments, coming up. Not when you watch even the house in Nigeria now, live, you seldom see anything that you feel, this is a brilliant one. You don't see those brilliant of yesterday. So that's why I said even the position we have now are emergency politicians that does not know what it means to be in the opposition. It's not just shouting and screaming on TV or using the media. That's not how to go about it. Bring that as it may. Now, we now talk of the shrinking space, and I will tell you that which space was there before for opposition when you want to look at it. Because let's look at it from 1999. I want to leave 1979 because in 1979 we still have the old brigades around, and we are still able to see, few brilliance, from them. But let's talk of 1999 to date. The only set of people that have been able to provide opposition are those that are now in power. I mean, the Tinubu of this world, the Lai Mohammed of this world. Those were able to stand up and say, this is how to go about some of these things. But now, they are now in the ruling party. So, those that are supposed to now stand up don't even know how to be opposition in the first place because they were never in the opposition. And that's the biggest challenge that we are having. And I've thought about it. I've thought that, okay, if you can't get people in political parties to be the opposition, can we look towards civil society? I mean, temporarily make use of them to help us to shape policies in a way that the ordinary man on the street will benefit. So to me, that is the biggest challenge that we are having. And talking about what is happening, I don't expect any other thing to happen than what is happening now. When you look at it, the number of those, or the caliber of those that first did this defection were the governors that had the second term. if you notice.
Yeah.
All of them were governors that had a second term. The only person that does not have a second term but that defected was the governor of Bayelsa. But all those that defected had reasons for second term. And PDP was not showing itself as a party that will be there or that has enough stability that will be able to project them. And we saw people like Adeleke that stood their ground wanting to be loyal to the party, that realized at the end of the day just there to to bail out. And the president said it. Is it my fault that people are bailed out of the ship without use one word?
The captain.
No captain. Safety one thing. Use one word. That they don't have life jacket or life boat, something like that. And that is the truth. So it is really first and foremost their interest that matters before they talk of other things. And that is a big issue that we have on our hands. So I'm thinking that we need to start training new set of politicians. How that will happen, I don't know. Maybe
who will train them? If this current crop of politicians are not too grounded in the ideology of their parties that they represent, how do they become a role model?
Yes, I am thinking that if voters eventually knows what it means to be a voter, and they are able to know that their thumb has a lot of power in it, we are going to be able to knock some senses into the politicians for them to know that there is a way towards some of these issues. And I don't, that's why I said I don't know where and how to start, because for now politics is a meal ticket. It's a way to make your money. So the issue of wanting to be opposition, those that are even in the opposition are in the opposition because they want to attract patronage for them to earn money. I mean, we saw the likes of Walia, we saw the likes of him and several others. We saw the likes of Reno or Mokri. We saw what they were doing before election. Reno was even still better off, because before election he was able to show that, look, I believe in what Asiwaju can do. But Walia was all over, attacking, abusing. You saw what happened. So those are the kind of things that we are talking about when you talk of people that want to do opposition, because they don't even know how to be in the opposition. Being in the opposition, being able to form a shadow government, being able to have your own minister of power, that is suggesting that, look, for this power to work, for us to have power in Nigeria or elections in Nigeria, these are the things that you need to do. Every day, somebody is standing up to shadow what is happening there. These are the things that are missing, that is making people not even see the importance of. So when we talk of opposition, even on radio, how old are they? They don't even know what it means to be in the opposition. A number of those that are shouting, we have the opposition today, does not even know what it means to be in the opposition. I'm sorry to say this. Our generation had the best of it. And I will repeat it. We had the best of how to be in the opposition. A lot of the books of Baba Awolowo, when I read them, were things that were policies or solutions he was profiling to government. They are not documented to become books for him. Go and look at it. How do we organize having a foreign military? Should we allow foreign nations to have their military base in Nigeria, build a base in Nigeria? We had issue going on now. Nobody has come out to say, this is what I think Nigeria should be doing as a policy towards this. Those are the things that were happening in the past. When politicians will come out and say, no, on this, we can't afford to follow it this way. No, on this, let us follow it this way. It is not existing now.
So, Mr. Landmarshal, it is quite unfortunate that we are in this kind of quagmire. Leadership, what the youths are learning now, appears to be what the future may likely tell us if we are not very careful. About a couple of weeks ago, I listened to some youths on radio, maybe National Association of Ogun State students, fighting different executives, and obviously some people were behind them, politicians, trying to use them for the next election, giving them rights, fighting over vehicles, fighting over even constitution, that this one is right, this one is wrong. Bread and butter politics leadership training. That is what appears to be on the ground now. Nobody is thinking of what the future will be, because the politicians have perpetuated almost everybody in poverty, in penury. That is the only way they can maintain their status quo. Have you ever seen most of the politicians, that's the strategy, have they ever been able to put program in place that will really, really alleviate the suffering of the people? What is it that makes it impossible to have a welfare system for Nigerians, not for politicians, not for food soldiers or politicians? Understand what I'm saying very well. Most of the time, it is the food soldiers that are benefiting from the politicians and those in power. You hear them during the festive period rise cash distribution through the wards, while the people outside are crying and shouting. And no politician, most of them, will never ever empower you to be free, because the moment you are free from them, you are no longer subjected to their whims and caprices. So they perpetuated poverty for the people, on the people. Bamu bamu nimuyo is their principle. And so the more you go to them to cry, the more you hail them when they do something as a governor. Oh, thank you, Mr. Governor. It shouldn't be. Those are where the problems emanate from. They would tell somebody who they defend that and tell you, oh, some governors have been there before. They didn't do much. So this one has come, he has done this, you have to thank you. Why are you thanking him for spending the common welfare? It's your money, it's my money, it's common resource. So why must I be thanking him for spending my money? He must compulsively do something in governance. The most he can get from Ola Animashan is kudos. Well done. Not thank you, sir. Not thank you, sir. Those are the principles that they have put in place. And almost everybody is falling in line to say, oh, so nobody cares about good governance per se. And any of you that says something to the contrary, you are seen as the enemy of progress in the state or in the federation. They think, oh, is this? And some will tell you, oh, it's because he wants appointment. Who says? The Almighty God has provided for everybody. Whatever it is that you will live on in your life, you will find a way of surviving. You don't need to be an appointee of any government to survive in life. As long as no, let them do their jobs. Provide good health services, good roads, employment opportunity, infrastructural facility, electricity, water supply. In most countries outside this country, some people don't even know who their ministers are. You don't ask me who my governors and commissioners are. I don't know. As long as everything falls in place and works accordingly. So politically, they will see themselves as lords of the manor because they want you to be subjugated. And the more that happens, the more we will have challenges in governance. If we can't get our political evolution well, particularly through the electoral processes, if the people are not well informed, if the poverty of the mind and mind-body poverty situation is so endemic, we may not be able to get it right. At the elections, whoever comes in will just look at it and say, after all, I paid you 5,000, 10,000, depending on the bargaining capacity of each person, and it takes two to tango anyway. So what we are saying is that we need to get our electoral processes well. We need to be informed effectively as a people through effective enlightenment, the voters, that it's not just all about the Boko Sebe. Yes, the politicians make poverty a good weapon. They make use of religion, of tribalism, and so many other variables. Because if they don't do it, if they don't use those variables, they will not be able to perpetuate themselves in power. They will not be able to subjugate us. Unfortunately, we are to their controls because we are unable to get away from all these mechanisms. But it's not impossible if we are able to get a continuous enlightenment process in place for the electorate and for everybody to move away from this factor of if there is a welfare package in the country, for instance, the Bokose may not work easily because the unemployed, the underemployed, The seasonally employed will have been taken care of, but it will not work easily because they chose, the politicians, to make our data system a very, very valid and very viable one. The way we are using the ATM cards is the way we should be able to deploy data in this country. When you have effective data, it's not the kind of NIN we are having now that has not been harmonized. We have staccato data arrangement. We all know that. Your license is there, your ATM, your driver, your BVN and all the rest. Why can't we harmonize? These things can be used in governance effectively for agriculture, for education, for health services, and for some other provisions. If you are saying you want to give farmers fertilizer and everything now, how do you really organize it without shortchanging them? We know some states that still have tractors that federal government gave them. They still have it stocked somewhere. They are not distributing, and we've gone over a year on it now. How will the farmers be able to plant in the planting season? We need to go mechanize if we want food security in this country. It's not a matter of peasantry or subsistence farming. Farming is business, big business. We don't have to depend on monoculture economy alone, oil, petroleum. The other ones are there. We have to move seriously to get this country to where it should be. And the people must do the needful. And those in government must also not think about themselves alone. And like I said, it's a business for them anyway.
Okay, now, Ustaz Jibril, what's the role of Constitution in all of this? Because looking at the Constitution, it seems the 1999 Constitution as amended is silent when it comes to a defection of cross-carpeting, particularly with the executive. For the legislators, yes, it prohibits them, but there's also a proviso that on the ground that if there are maybe internal issues within the party, I know that politicians, there's a way they can even cause that problem just to defect to another party. So is there an end in sight? Should we be talking about maybe amending the Constitution in such a way that it will make cross-carpeting harder than it is?
Oh, thank you. Even presently, the Constitution is not in support of cross-carpeting or defecting from one party to the other. It's not a just truly situation for them. However, there are provisions and there are situations that allows, what do you call it, for defection, like when there is a crisis in the party, like we're having PDP now, which is a basis for which people can cross-carpet. So, like I said, it's not really a consumer issue. It's a matter of principle that we spoke about when we started. Whatever the Constitution says, if people don't push it, you see, election, political cases drags for too long. The celebrated case of this lawmaker from the north, that the court said the court declared its seat vacant, took how many years for it to happen? And that's the challenge. There are a lot of things comes into even these politics you're talking about. And when you look at defection, as far as Nigerian politics is concerned, we can't help it. As long as people really want to protect their interests, they want to be relevant, because the interest, they will have reason to want to quit one party and join the other. It takes few exceptions for you not to see defections going on. And when I said it, it's equally even with the old generation. We've not seen the present president changing, cross-carpeting, or leaving his party. What they've done is they might form a new party, they might bring about a new party, bring a new name, but when they do that, they are not crossing, they are moving on, for strategic reasons. And these are the things that people need to understand regarding that. So I don't see how the Constitution can come in. Because even presently, it is not as if the Constitution is silent on what do you call it, on defection. It is not. But it is because politicians will always find a way around it, okay, before now, let me give this instance. The president, the Constitution talks about when to start campaigns by politicians. But do you know that the APC started their own campaign from early January 2025? Ask me how they did it. They didn't call it campaign. Even as they're talking now, they are campaigning. But they ensure they don't bring names or vote for somebody or that person. They use other names. They use, want to, political visitation, like UK just did. Homecoming, whatever. We are endorsing we are a vote of confidence on the president. Those are the names they've been using in order to circumvent the constitution. So it's a matter of what people want. And it's not as if the constitution is silent some of these things, but it's because of what the situation is. And I've been telling people, if you are in their shoes, okay, I want to assume, if you are in the shoes of Governor Adeleke of Osun State, will you still want to remain in the PDP? The interest suggests that if he wants to go for second term, he will need to just move, and that's just the truth. Dito for Governor Mufuwan of Plateau State. Do you expect him to still remain in the PDP with what has happened? Or you are looking at the governor of Kano State that has generated so much furore regarding his defection. When you look at what is happening, don't forget that he won at the Supreme Court by the whisker. Because the APC had a tight case against him. Now going into the future, with the challenge he's having with his godfather, the Kwankwanso, you have to understand that he has no choice than to start thinking of a future for himself. And that's what is playing out in some of these things. This is what we need to understand when you talk of this. Yes, when you talk of defection, these are the things you have to consider if you're in their shoes. What you do? Governor Ovodowori, I don't know what I call Delta. Of Delta. I'm sorry if I didn't get it right. Of Delta, did he have a choice? With Anomo Agege standing on his neck in the APC and with the support of Mr. President. Don't forget that it was through the help of Mr. President he got this Senate, Deputy Senate of under, what do you call them, the last dispensation. Those are the issues. So for him now to want to remain in a PDP that he knows that will no longer be there and leave Anomo Agege to be building will be, foolhardy of him. And that is how it is for almost all the governors. They have no choice if they really want to remain in contention than to defect. And I ask a question, defect to which party? Labour Party that is having issue, or PDP that is having issue, or ADC that is not sure of itself? Which party would you want them to defect to? I don't see, you ask the question, 22 governors supported Jonathan. Still, he lost. Now, those 22 governors, can we start taking them one after the other and look at their interests? Aside from Wike in Rivers, all others were still in this party, but they've crossed over. Even the chairman of the party of the PDP was one leg away from the PDP. It was in the APC. That was the challenge. And like he said, the calculus are not the same. The markets are not the same. So when you talk of defection and you talk of constitutional provision, it is not a matter of law. It's a matter of human beings. It's a matter of interest. And once, a friend of mine once told me, he said, once there is an agreement, devil will see God. He said, devil will see God. And what I'm trying to say by that is, the moment people realizes that this is the next thing they need to do for their survival, they will find means that who makes the law? Who makes the law? No, the politicians. They sit down to make the law. You and I have little contribution. They will come and say they do public hearing, but does our voice count? Not vote now, voice count at this public hearing when they made up their mind on what they want to do. These are the issues. So when they realize that the thing is not working for them, they come out with new regulations that will support them. So the Constitution has little role to play. Not as in, even as in now, it is not as if it is in support of flying or defecting, but it is because position will find a way around it. Even on the floor of the house, when they come and announce, I am now in PDP, or they know the law does not support them. But who is going to start asking those questions? Those are the issues. Okay.
Ustaz, I'll still stay with you. You made a point the other time about Wike supporting Jonathan then and others were one leg in, one leg out. Now we still see those examples. Wike that was supporting Jonathan then is seemingly seen to be one-legging in PDP, but his spirit and soul is working for APC and the presidency. Now, can that find that kind of an example being the one that has been affecting a lot of opposition parties? Now they are in the party, but they are not working fully for the party that they are working for. What do you think Nigerians should do when it comes to that kind of example? How do you think we should treat those kind of politicians who are not fully with the party they are, especially those opposition parties?
It's their interest that matters. We have said it. You see, interest determines what people will do. If something is not in your interest, you will find a way around it. And when you look at UK in 2023, does he have a choice? He wanted to become president of Nigeria, and he was working. He was using his party, the PDP, honestly and sincerely was working until Tambua and Atiku came up. What do you expect him to do? And they made all efforts to ensure that things were straightened out. It didn't work out. So the only thing he needed to do, he could do, was what he did, because he wanted to remain relevant. And he knows that it was obvious that the president was going to win. The current president was going to win the election. For people that had what it takes, they knew he was going to win the election. So what he did was, and he did not hide it, he came out and said, I am going to support the president at the federal level, but at the state level, I am PDP, and he remains in PDP. Now people have said, why haven't Wike defected? Wike are not defected. Wike still need to remain in the PDP, because it is in the PDP that is relevant. All those that have been attacking Wike from the APC, quite a number of national officers that have been attacking Wike from the APC, just don't seem to understand the game. Wike does not have any business or role coming to the APC. The only role Wike needs to play now is to be in the PDP. It is Wike remaining in the PDP that is becoming a factor and that is working for APC. He does not have any business in the APC. Because when you like it or not, Wike is APC. Even the way things are now, he is just using his position in the PDP to have leverage on ensuring that they destabilize that party. And that's why he's still there. But we all know Wike is PDP now, is APC, with the way and manner and the things that he's doing. And that's the challenge with all politicians. Now, what happened in 2023 or 2015 against Jonathan might not happen now. Because when you look at what was happening then and what is happening now, you have a stable party. We have APC with a president who is in control. We have governors having a lot of money coming to them. We have governors that are benefiting from the policy of the sitting president. The incumbency power is there, and he's in total control of this. So I don't expect any governor to put one leg here and one leg here. All of them are totally in support of what do you call it? The president. One, then two. That time, quite a number of those governors were in their second term. They don't have reason to want to contest again, and they are looking for post office relevance
after the office.
Yes. So they needed to look at if this year this is going. They needed to show they are there, and that's the storyline. Unlike now, quite a number of the governors that are coming up have a future to think about. And that's the challenge that we're talking about. So when you look at what you said, that the situation I don't want to take, and that's the truth. But I will repeat it based on your question, that politicians are here or there simply because of interest. What drives politicians in Nigeria, first and foremost, is interest. Wherever his interest lies, and he feels he will benefit, is where he will paddle his boat to. Well, whatever the tide is saying, he will find a way to go to where he feels his interest will be taken. And that is what is happening with Wike now. Wike is in control of Rivers State. Whether we like it or not, it is the truth. He's in control of the political structure of Rivers. And sorry, another question. People talk of Governor Fubara is loved. People love them, and I say, which people? Each time I ask, people always say, are you saying the people does not matter? I have just said the people does not matter, but those that know the name of the people and the politicians, they know the name they call the people. It is not you and I that know their name, but they know their name. What am I saying? Look, despite the fact that the president was not popular in 2023 in Rivers, did you not win? Or was the president popular in 2023 in Rivers State, or anywhere in the south or southeast? Was he popular? He wasn't. But in Rivers he won. How did he do it? Despite the fact that he was not popular. So people worked for him to make him that. Those people that worked for him are still with him. These are things you need to understand. The dynamics. And it is those that understand the name and the techniques, how it works, the strategy that benefit from it, not the person that knows how to make the biggest of noise. Look, Wike planned ahead. I'm not trying to make him an issue, but it's an example and a perfect one for this. He planned ahead. His lawmakers, or lawmakers that are loyal to him, had been in the APC long before Governor Fubara was thinking of coming over. The local government are APC and they are under Wike, lock and key. The party structure, the party chairman of APC in Rivers is a Wike man. I don't know whether I'm communicating. So these are the things. He is ahead. And that is it. So when you talk of defection, he knows he doesn't need to be in the party to control what is there. He has control what will control the party. And that is it. So interest matters.
Okay, but
let me quickly make one...
still on that, actually. Because now, just like Wike said that it was not part of the agreement that Fubara would defect to APC. Now Fubara has defected to APC, and he has the support of also some heavyweights in Rivers State, including Peter Hodili. Now he has the support of Ribadu, Opizodima of Imo State, and some other governors also that are backing him. So what would this change in the whole political arrangement of Rivers State? And it's looking as if the presidency or the president wouldn't want to lose Fubara, because of the impression that the common people, the common man, actually with Fubara, and would want to also lose an ally in Wike.
You see, let me quickly say something before I get to that. In Rivers' case, it's like a soap opera, but somehow we'll get to the end of it one way or the other. It's not the absence of laws in Nigeria, that's where I'm going. It's the usage, utilization, making it effective concerning the issue of defection, what the Constitution is saying, and all the rest. So it's not the absence of laws. The concerning Wike and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Wike is working for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's not from PDP. He's not working with APC. There's a distinction there that people are mixing up. He's not working with APC, but he's working for the president through PDP, but he's not on a leave of absence by PDP. PDP did not grant him that leave of absence to say, go and work with the president. That's why I say he's not working with APC. There's a difference. The alliance, PDP is not saying, okay, we want to form a government of common distance. Please, we can go and work with APC. No. He on his own is working for the president. And the president who he is working for knows the onions. He knows that. In fact, in my sojourn on earth, I'm not sure I've seen a president like this that seems to understand politics as much. And to me, Olanimasha, the president even understands politics more than governance. That is the way I see him. But he's finding his footings in governance gradually. But in terms of politics, he seems to have captured almost all of them. And that is why everybody seems to be running here and there now. So when you say you are going to Rivers now, when you are talking of Fubara and Wike, the master strategist has not said anything. He keeps quiet. He's marshalling his strategy. And that is the president I'm referring to. The second master strategist, Wike, is also, moving in different directions the way he seems to have planned out his things. Fubara appears to be looking for survivor. And the belief most of the Fubara people and his backers are saying is going to be the head of APC because he's the governor in Rivers, like you are trying to say. Anything can play out. But when you have another strategies that seem to have captured the structure before you moved into APC is going to be a Herculean task, because you are going to use money, because Nigerian politics is money. We cannot hide it. We know it. That's the power the governors have. You are going to have money. But Wike appears to have, I'm not saying he has amassed, he appears to have amassed so much money wealth that he's deploying, because his full soldiers don't think they are just obedient to him. He's using money just like the governor would use. And that's why they are joking that the 6 billion you seem to be banking on from the sole administrator, because Fubara himself, upon all the mouths the people are making against the sole administrator and the state of emergency, the sole administrator said he made 3 billion in the kitty and is leaving 6 billion. That is a lot. How many of our politicians can come out and say this is this and that is that? They are not transparent enough. Now, Wike is telling him and some others that if you are banking on that 6 billion, don't joke with yourself. That what Wike is saying in essence is that I have much more to contend with the current situation, and if money is what politics says in Nigeria, it's going to be a tough one for Fubara. Of course, the governors are very, very powerful, but you don't compare the power of Fubara with some other governors that we know in Nigeria. You understand? Because his money also is subjected to his second term struggle. And if he looks at the indices that what Wike is playing out with me, it's going to be tough. It's going to be fight to finish. Well, Wike has almost nothing to lose more than
But now that Fubara is in APC, do you foresee him clinching the primary ticket or becoming the flag bearer for APC in 2027?
With the structures in the hands of Wike is the one that brought Fubara.
I know, but
the power Fubara is using is the IYCM or something. He just used movement, IYM. If you look at those that have been coming out to fight for Fubara now, is the IYM. Particularly one black guy with heavy beard like this.
But there's also Peter Odili.
Those ones, when the chiefs are down, they know where their interest lies.
Okay.
They know how.
But now with
Opus
Odima, like the likes of Ribado, some
like Ribado is working towards 27. That's what some people don't know. He is looking for structures that he can bank on, because Ribado is also. I'm sorry, 2031. Sorry for the miscalculation. He's working towards 2031, so that it needs people that he can bank on.
So basically, you don't see Fubara clinching the APC ticket come 2027.
It will be difficult.
A lot of things are playing out. Now that's why I said it's soap opera. But I don't see Wike losing out totally. Neither will Fubara lose out totally. But somehow the strategy in Abuja has a way of deploying its maneuvering to the extent that everything will not just fall yakata or fall like egg.
For Fubara, it's about the second term ticket. So if he doesn't clinch that ticket, he's someone that has lost out totally.
You'll be surprised that things may change after some time.
Sorry, can I come?
You will be surprised.
Sorry, can I come in?
Okay.
Fubara, what he has at stake is not second term. Now, if he loses second term, he has lost everything. No. Fubara should be struggling to remain in office now. It is when he is not impeached that he has won. Let me tell you, if you look at what is on the ground against Fubara, based on the law of Nigeria, I don't see how he can survive that impeachment notice in Saudi. And listen, why has he not responded? Why is it that people are the ones talking in the media, and Fubara himself has not responded to the notice given to him? I think he has, under the law, the reason to be able to say, these are my positions. Give it to the House of Assembly. These are my... But he's not talking. People are talking on his behalf. So what I'm saying is, he's being able to save his head and not being impeached. That will be his gain. As far as that second term is concerned, listen, whether Opus Nodima, whether the NSA, and all those that you have mentioned, all of them are playing to the gallery, because they don't have any role they can play inside the River State, where the things will happen, where the vote will happen. You saw Bala Mohammed that said, you heard him when he said Governor Wike is trying to set fire into his house. But when we said it about 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, that I will set fire into Bauchi, people were saying, what does it mean? How can you say we'll set fire another person's state? But Governor Barra said, Ike is setting fire into Bauchi. The whole of Bauchi is already into APC. Maybe you don't understand. It's a person that understands the game. What Fubara needs to do is simple. Let him still to conquer. I don't see the president supporting him to say he must trample on the constitution. That's what he's doing now. And the president needs a lot of numbers.
And there are only 2 things that will save Fubara. After the notice of impeachment has been served and the chief judge of Rivers has been informed, there is a committee that should be set up to determine if there is a case or there is no case. If Fubara is able, because we don't have to put words hide under one figure, if he's able to influence the constitution of that committee to make sure that those who are in that committee will favor him by saying, this is a judicial committee, by saying that there is no case to answer, then he has escaped the impeachment. But if he is unable to make that maneuvering, Fubara is gone. That's number one. But
let's move away from Fubara a little bit. Okay. Because we are focusing on Bayelsa. It's taking a lot of time. Let's look at the dominance that a one-party nation or political party nation they will have. Will it allow governance as it were? Because we know that politics and governance in some sense cannot be separated. Yeah. We can't separate it like that. So will it allow for governance to people to really enjoy?
That is the aspect that really concerns somebody like me the most, and I'm sure Oscar, the act of governance. But if you don't get politics right, governance will wobble. That is the challenge we're having now. And the opposition, they are almost nowhere to be found. Unless the oppositions are able to wake up and do the needful, do the job of saying, we are here as the alternative. It's not as if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's economic policy or governance has been perfect. No, there has been lots of crises and challenges here and there. But he, like I said the other time, he seems to have mastered the art of politicking, and that's why it appears that those who are defecting seem to accept him. Why is it? And the people are still shouting outside there. It's because he knows politics more than governance. But in governance, when you get to the governance, you must remove, like I always say, remove the agbada of politicking, put it at the top step, and govern and superintend over everybody. If you don't do that and you allow too much politics to permeate governance, then you'll be shortchanging the people. That is where my own fear is. And unfortunately, the way it is going, it's not impossible that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if he's able to win the second term, which is not impossible, he may become a supremate leader. That's another caution, the fear I have, because he will have been able to amass so much capacity that whatever I want to do, I just want to do it in second term. And that could be very, very dangerous. That is the only fear I have as of this material. Yes. I hope we will have people in the Senate, in the rest, that will be able to stand up and say, Mr. President, you can't do it that way. If we are unable to have such a scenario, then whatever President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does in 2027 after the election is all for everybody to see.
I think the two-edged sword. It can work for us and it can work against us. But it's more of working against us than working for us. Like I said, I don't trust this present crop of politicians. When it comes to even being in the opposition, they are not doing well for us. They have seen it. The articles of this, all of them, they are not doing well. I like what one of the politicians in the state is doing. He mentioned the alternative. I don't want to go too much into that. If he felt, no, this is not working for me, and he's coming out to build himself, and he's speaking against what he does not like. Though it seems to be aligned to the present administration in the state. But the truth of the matter is, we need people to do that, to say, no, I want to follow a different path towards what I think is right. That's that. Regarding at the national level, why I said the other word before that, if the president has that supreme power that he's talking about, they can use it for us in the fact that we are talking about decentralization of the system. I think he's able to do that. So far, he has been decentralizing Nigeria one way or the other, thematically. If he has more power, he can do more of that and devolve power, into the regions, which he's doing now. People don't seem to understand. Number two is that when it gets that second term, quite a number of people that need him now to be what they have might not need him again. They will be looking forward to 2031, and now they will be realigning and be repositioning. I don't know where you're getting it. Now, finally, I'm thinking AGC can give President Tinubu or APC a run for their money. If Atiku is smart. How do I mean? Smart, I'm not saying it's a dollar. What I'm saying is, what I'm expecting him to do is to allow Obi to fly. Use Obi to build the ADC for 2031. Don't say you want to contest now. Use Obi to build ADC. Let him fly. Whether he wins or not, he's able to bring his own power and resources into the ADC. The ADC stands a bit, then you support him. Building the ADC as a party to beat, maybe come 2031. That is the kind of thinking I will expect him to bring up now. But for him to say no, there is a fight for finish. They want to contest for the ticket. That is, like he said, dead on arrival. That's what I'm thinking. And that's why I feel that the issue of the president having all power, our own party state, is a sword that can cut here, it can cut there. But the way things are, the truth of the matter is that we cannot stop the defections.
Okay, the other time you suggested civil service organizations. Can they do that job? Would they,
civil service organizations?
Can they do it?
They are doing it. Serap is doing it, and some other ones are doing it. Budget is doing to the best of his ability. Rafsanjani, I can't remember his name of his CSO again. They are doing it. They are asking questions. We just need more of them to ask questions, and ask. If you have them in the state, they have been good for us. It's not confrontational. Positive engagement of government on their policies and issues. I think we need them now than wanting to count on a party that is not there.
But even what Serap has been, Serap most times say they will sue the government for this, for that.
They are not saying they will sue. They are suing.
But what has come out of that?
Their capacity is limited.
So that's what I'm saying. They will just keep asking questions and
whatever it is within their
answers.
reach. But for the opposition, you see, the best thing that can happen is not just only the civil society. Civil society will play their role. They are fragments of it. And the civil society does not necessarily have to attack or be antagonistic. They only have to point out and expect the opposition to also lift the situation from there, even if the opposition is not doing much at all before. But as it were, that's the challenge we are having. The opposition are nowhere to be found. And that's the danger we have in the country.
The civil society organization can also be bought in a way.
Well, that's why I said it's not really their job alone, because they can be bought, they can be here or there. It's neither here or there. But you will see them doing the needful at the material time. If such a needful can be taken over by the opposition, it will go a long way. And like Ustaz said, you need some people to be there by 27 against 21. If Atiku can step down, I think Obi's followership, which is occultic in nature,
and organic,
and they are unable through the Labour platform to push the agenda forward. If they are able to step down and accept ADC and push the agenda, if Obi gets the ticket, and Atiku is ready, and I'm not sure if Atiku will be willing to do deputy anyway.
And some Nigerians,
he's not the deputy, to just stay off.
If he's willing to stay off and allow Obi to head something, Obi will get the Eastern vote to a very high extent and some other areas. It's just that the Herculean tax, the principal currently at the head of affairs in Abuja, may not be so easy to get rid of politically, as it was, given the calculus.
And some Nigerians
has a big role to play in all of this.
And that's why I said
the umpire.
That's why I said the electoral process the other time has to be done in a way that it will do justice to our election. And the more we are able to go digital, the better for us. It doesn't mean that it will only be digitalized. or it has to be electronic. No, you don't do electronics without manual. There must be backup. But the more we are able to go digital, the better for us. And I think 27, like as promised by the new INEC boss, he said it's going to be a reckoning that we will all live on to use an example as a reference point, whatever is going to happen in 27. And the more, the better for us.
Ustaz, we need to leave, but the last question. The INEC, I was going to mention, electoral body and security body under one party, a system that we are tilting towards in Nigeria. Will it work?
It will work. What concerns INEC? INEC, whoever comes to contest is what INEC is dealing with. You see what happened in Ekiti. The court said the PDP does not have a candidate. What concerns INEC? When they had issue in FCT, the INEC said they are standing by the law. This is what the law says. So, at times, the whole INEC is responsible for what does not concern them.
It doesn't concern Nigeria with overload.
And even state agencies have their own to play. It's the people and the party that need to know how to organize themselves, going forward into 2027.
All right, thank you, gentlemen, for coming to discuss the gale of defection that we are experiencing in Nigeria. Thank you for giving your opinions, suggestions, and I hope these political parties that we have in Nigeria took note and they will do the needful as it comes to opposition and also having a good political competition within themselves for the betterment of Nigeria. Thank you so much for coming.
It's nice being here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Moses, we need to leave.
Yes, we absolutely thanks so much for watching. We don't continue on Friday with another set of anchors. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now.